What if the next Battlefield has skill-based matchmaking? Yeah, it's a real conversation that needs to be had. Battlefield has been moving away from server browsers, community-run things for a very, very long time. And recently, an ex-DICE dev said internally they are extremely jealous of Call of Duty, and of course Call of Duty is infamous at this point for having skill-based matchmaking and other extremely shady systems. So what's stopping them from ignoring all community feedback like they normally do, and just ruining Battlefield by putting SBMM in the game? We're going to talk about this. It's a very important conversation that we need to be having. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, swing by the streams because I stream every single day. First link in the description, and I stream on this YouTube channel as well. The next Battlefield game, even though it is very, very far away from releasing and being playable to the public, is obviously undergoing massive conversation because this next Battlefield game is such a massive deal. They essentially hold the fate of casual FPS in their hands, not just the fate of the Battlefield franchise, and that is an extremely scary prospect from a company that just released Battlefield 2042. And I don't think I need to elaborate further on that front. It goes without saying that one of the most beloved features from previous Battlefield games is the fact that you could create your own servers and that there was a server browser. But this simply cannot exist if they put skill-based matchmaking in the next Battlefield game, which is why it is such a scary, scary thing. If you take a look at the progression of how Battlefield is played, you can see that over the past few Battlefield games, they've been very slowly making it harder and more obscure to find the server browser. If you take a look at Battlefield 4, it started out on Battlelog, then it moved very later on in its life to having its own client that you could start up. Then in Battlefield 1, of course, that was the first Battlefield game to have matchmaking, but it was still a mainly server browser-based game, and people really enjoyed it. Then Battlefield 5 came along, those matchmaking buttons got a little bigger, and finding the server browser became that much harder. In fact, it was renamed to, quote, advanced search, ladies and gentlemen. Then fast forward to 2042, there is no server browser whatsoever for the base game, and it is only found in Portal, where people can create their own servers, and most of the time those servers are just, let's just say, less than ideal. So there has been a very gradual and very deliberate move away from this sort of power to the players, server browser, custom server experience that we love from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Simultaneously, the entire gaming industry, it seems, has been moving towards these very heavily curated matchmaking systems. Most notably, obviously, are games like Apex Legends and Call of Duty. Call of Duty, most notoriously for their skill-based matchmaking and their EOMM, which is engagement-optimized matchmaking. It just made them a shit ton of money, and an ex-DICE developer coming out on Blue Sky Social and saying that they're jealous of COD internally. Yeah, you better believe EA is taking a real good look at how much money COD is making, potentially influenced from their matchmaking systems, and going, well, why can't we make that much money? Like, oh my god, what the hell? So for hypothetical purposes, let's just say the next Battlefield game gets announced and this information comes to light that there isn't a server browser and they do have skill-based matchmaking in the game to some extent. What would the public reaction be? How would it affect the game? I've spoken about this in a couple of videos, and every single time I bring it up, there are a ton of people in the comment section going, if I find out there's skill-based matchmaking in the next Battlefield game, I will not play it and I will not buy it. And the same sentiment is shared for if there isn't a server browser in the next Battlefield title. In my opinion, even though maybe theoretically it could make EA more money, the addition of skill-based matchmaking and the removal of a server browser from the next Battlefield game would ultimately be a devastating blow to the reputation of the Battlefield franchise, and it would ultimately just piss people off. I think if people learned this information before the next Battlefield game released, their sales would be directly affected by it, because I just think people are fed up. People don't want this like new age slop that game companies release. They want Battlefield to return to form, and the fact of the matter is, Battlefield is a game that doesn't have skill-based matchmaking. And I would go as far to say, as a long-time, die-hard Battlefield player and fan, the very second they implement some sort of matchmaking system like SBMM into Battlefield, that is the day Battlefield dies. The moment they put SBMM in Battlefield, Battlefield as we know it is gone forever. It is not the same. It's just basically completely over from that point. So it goes without saying the people in control of the next Battlefield game have a massive decision on their hands. Are they going to stay true to what Battlefield has always been, or are they going to be greedy? Is EA going to try to squeeze as much money as possible out of their community by essentially protecting bad players so they potentially buy more microtransactions? Or does EA understand that them implementing a system like SBMM in their game would actually result in pissing off the entire community? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, all we can do is just wait and see, and that's the terrifying part. Because the messaging around this next Battlefield game has been different, right? They've been preaching all of this return to roots, and then we've had great news regarding Battlefield Labs and the playtesting initiatives and how beneficial that will probably be to the next Battlefield title. Then, in a big surprise, we actually got to see about 10 seconds of gameplay much earlier than we would typically be able to see. And of course, they're nostalgia baiting us with the Battlefield 3 theme song and the way the game looks. It looks how a Battlefield game should look. That sort of gritty, darker, more just realistic, quote-unquote, approach that people have been asking them to do ever since, well, probably Battlefield 5. So while almost everything we've seen about the next Battlefield game has been good so far, we all know how the last few Battlefield games have gone, and we all know that they are obviously going to be showing us what we want to see before we get our hands on the game. Ultimately, the decision of how the next Battlefield game is played, whether it be server browser or matchmaking, is one of the biggest decisions of the next Battlefield title, and it has to be taken extremely seriously. And I do hope whatever internal feedback and whatever internal decisions have been made are the right feedback and the right decisions, because I personally believe that this is really simple. If they took the correct feedback from the community, they should know that people want a server browser, and they better damn well give it to them. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you plan on following the next Battlefield or Delta Force, and just really any FPS in general. Also be sure to hit the follow button on my Twitch stream, first link in the description. I also stream every single day on YouTube as well. So thank you so much to everyone that watched this video. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video.